Hello everyone, welcome back to the command block tutorial series. This is episode 9 of the command block tutorial series, and in today's video I will be teaching you JSON components. And also my lab got a little update. Also, nobody's joining the Discord, but that's okay. If you guys ever want to join it, you guys can always just go to the description and go ahead and join it for yourselves. I don't really care if anyone joins or not. I just made it to help you guys. So let's get into the video. Pause! Okay, so I didn't say this in the video, which is surprising to me. And it kind of went over my head throughout the entire video. But this is the last episode of the command block tutorial series. So, it's not the end of my YouTube channel. But I will still be posting. Probably not on Thursdays anymore. It's probably not going to be scheduled. It's probably going to be when I get the time to post again. But one thing is, you guys, I'm dependent on you guys now. Go ahead and suggest what you want me to build. I will make anything with command blocks. Go ahead and suggest it in the comment section, and I will even feature your comment in the beginning of the video. So go ahead, go in the comment section right now and suggest what you want my next video to be. I'll create anything with command blocks, and I'm gonna do a tutorial on it. So I'm still gonna continue the tutorials. I'm just gonna start to go into like creations you guys need, or you guys just can't figure out yourselves. I'll do them for you. So go ahead and suggest them in the comments section below, and I'll go through the comments and see which ones I think are cool. And if I don't get any comments, then I'll figure out something to make for you guys that I think is pretty interesting and maybe you guys would enjoy and use on your worlds. I also might start posting my command block creations just to pique some interests. I mean, I don't have much of a reasoning behind it, but I'm going to stop talking now. This is going to be the last episode of the command block tutorial series. I hope this tutorial series has helped you guys a lot, and if it hasn't, go ahead, feel free to go watch somebody else's tutorials, or maybe even going on a wiki. Go ahead. I didn't teach you everything, because I don't feel the need to. I think I've taught you enough for you guys to start learning any small details by yourself. You guys can go through it and think, okay, now I can go ahead and look at these command components and say, oh, what's this component do? Look it up. Go ahead. Feel free to. Because I didn't need to teach you everything. If I did teach you everything, this series would last about 50 episodes. It's gonna last a while. So feel free to always go to other sources. I just taught you a lot of my knowledge. I didn't teach you all of it at all because that would take a long time. And I didn't want this series to last that long. So I'll keep up the videos. Don't worry, guys. Go ahead and recommend creation you guys need in the description. And I'll try and think of making it a cool way for you guys so you guys can have it in your worlds. And I know this is weird, and this is going to be the last sentence because I've been rambling on for 3 minutes. If you guys are going to take my tutorials that I post after this, be sure to make it your own, because it's really good to get some practice with command blocks and your command block skills. So always make the creations that you take from me and make them your own. Add some sound effects, particle effects, change up some of the words, change up anything. Always make it your own. It's just really good practice. Okay, let's get into the video. Okay, let's head in. Hello, George.
Hi.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Room A this time. Let's go. Text with a space. Okay, let's head to room A. That's new. So nobody's in any rooms, huh? Okay. Okay, so in today's video, I'm teaching you JSON components, like I said in the intro. But what are JSON components? Well, I'm gonna have to teach you a little tiny bit of code. It's not that much code, and it's not that confusing to understand. But I'm gonna be talking about how this code works and how it fits into like a container style of components. So these components are going to be different to command components, and it's going to be stepping out your comfort zone a little bit, but let's get into it. Now, my audio might sound a little bit different. I just moved, so sorry about that. But there are very few commands that use JSON components. So the first command I'm going to teach you is the tellraw command. This one uses JSON components, and I love the tellraw command. I use it a lot just to make stuff look nicer. So we have our tellraw command, and then we need to tell at s. So it's just the tell command, but it's a little bit better because it's not dependent on the game giving us a little bit of the info. So let's get into the JSON components. I'll explain it later on. So we have /tellraw add s and then our JSON components. Now, what are JSON components? Well, they consist of a lot of things, but it's basically code within Minecraft that you can kind of change yourself. So two main things in JSON components are the curly brackets and the square brackets. I'm going to define these for you so you guys can understand the difference between these two components. So the first thing is the curly brackets. Now these do mean different things. The square brackets and the curly brackets, these mean different things. So this curly bracket is called a method, I think. If it's not called a method and you guys have coded in your life, please tell me. I might be wrong, but I am pretty sure it is called a method. And I'll get a little more into in depth about that in a second. And then the square brackets are called a list/array. So these are a list or an array. It doesn't matter. It can be both. But now we have our method and our arrays. So what do these mean? So I'm going to first start with the method and what they do. So the first thing I'm going to teach you are the methods. So we have them in curly brackets. Now we're going to start with the first curly bracket. What does a method do? Well, it classifies what our component is. So this is what our Minecraft component is. So let's type in a random component, and we're just going to do component. This is our component. Component is our component. So now in our method, we have our component. And you always put the component in quotation marks because it's just code. It's how it works. So now we have our beginning curly bracket and our component. Then to show what it's equal to, instead of doing equals, we do colon. So now we have our component is equal to what? What is our component equal to? Now our component can have multiple things inside of it. This is where it gets a little confusing. A component can have more than one component inside of it. So if this component was like something like display, now on Bedrock Edition, they're not as complicated as this, but trust me, understanding this for later on, because maybe Bedrock Edition will update their JSON components, understanding these will help you a lot. So let's say we have our display. Inside that display component, you're gonna have to look up what's inside of the display component. So let's say there's another component inside of display. I want to change text. So inside of display, there's text. Well, I'm going to show that there's another component. As you can see, I just did another component inside of that component. Because you can do that. Or I just did another method inside of that method. So inside a display, And then we're going deeper. It's kind of like File Explorer, and these are the symbols that help us explore the files. So inside the display file, there's a text file, and the text file is what I want to change. So text is equal to that, and bam, there's our thing, and I can change text to let's say George. So now we have display colon and then our text component colon and then a string George. It's quite confusing at first to get your head wrapped around what the methods are. So and we have two curly end brackets because that shows that this method is inside of this method. They're not dispersed too much. So that's our methods. Now let's get into lists. Lists / arrays are shown with square brackets. So we are going to have a starter square bracket. Now, this is really where it really gets in depth. A list can contain multiple objects. It can be strings, numbers, or even a method. It can hold, I'm pretty sure a list can hold a list inside of it. Any object. It can hold multiple of any object. And it's all shown with these little commas. So this is a list. I have my first string. Let's do A, and then my second string B, and then my third string C. That's my list. A, B, and C are all contained in one list. And that's pretty simple, right? Now, think about it as I want to put a component in this list. I want it to be called text, and then our text hi. Now, can you have multiple, or not a component, sorry, did I call it a component? I meant method. Now I have my method inside of it. Can you store multiple methods inside of a list? Yes. So I want a second text one, and it would just be another text, and then testing. Bam. So now what it would do is have this text and that text. As simple as that in our little square brackets. So that's what a list is. It's just multiple objects. As simple as that. Next are our objects. That's what I've been saying a whole bunch. So what are our objects? Well, we have a string. And you know what a string is. I taught you that. Sorry, let's do this. And they're shown with quotation marks. We have our int, and so on and so forth. We have all the other things. So we have our string, which is mainly. We have our component. Not component. Sorry. I keep saying component. We have our method, and we have our list. So these are all our objects inside of our JSON components. So those are objects for you, but the string one, we're probably, well, you do use it. So the string is its own component, and method is its own component, and list is its own component. Now let's get into the tellraw command. I do /tellraw @s, and so now you guys don't know the components to the tellraw command, and that's okay. I will be teaching you or telling you what the components are. So we first have our component, and this component is called raw text. Just raw text. So this is our component right there. We have our first, or method. I always say component. This is our first method. And our component inside that method is raw text. Now we need to define that. Inside raw text, we have a list. And it needs to be a list because, like I said, C we're using C++. I never said this, but C++, and Minecraft is trying to translate this for us to have an easier time. I'm not going to go in depth with that. Anyway, so we're going to need a list and then our text component. So we're going to need a method, and inside the method, we're going to have our text component and then our string that we want the text to be. Now we can say what we want. So I'm just going to type say, bam, it's in chat. And that's the cool thing about the tellraw command instead of the tell command. So if I do /tell at s, and then my message, as you can see, it pops up all that nasty text. Now with the tellraw command, I could just say message. Bam, it types it in chat. And you could use this for a lot of things. You could type in a color code like green won the game. As simple as that. See? And now it says green won the game. And I tried to put my mouse up towards the chat, but that's not how Minecraft works. Anyway, so as simple as that. Now let's move on to /give. /give has JSON components right there. So let's go ahead and move on over to /give. If I do /give add s, the item I want to give JSON components to, we're gonna do an iron pickaxe, and then the amount 1, 0, and then our JSON components. And the /give command has 2 JSON components, or 2 components that we can use. So let's start with our method. Inside our method, we're going to have our component, and the first component I'm going to show you is Minecraft can destroy. So that's our first component. Then we're going to need to classify it. We're going to have another component inside this, and this is what I mean. You can have another component inside that component. Oh, I pressed down. Let's retype that. Okay, /give add s iron pickaxe 1, 0 Minecraft can _destroy. And then we're gonna have our next method inside of that method or component. Now we have our next method, and our next method are going to be the blocks that we want to break. So we're going to have our blocks, and then we're going to have a list of our blocks that we want to break. As simple as that. And inside this list, you just type in the names for the blocks. So I'm going to go ahead and just do one block and just do, let's say, stone. Go ahead and enter. If I open this, as you can see at the bottom, it says can break stone. And it, if I went to adventure mode like this, game mode A, and tried to break stuff, as you can see, I can't unless there is stone. If I do set block stone like so, and then break this, ta-da, I can break stone. Our next JSON component for the /give command is for blocks that you can give yourself. So I'm going to give myself stone 1, and it's the can place on component. So if I type inside my method Minecraft can place on, that's the component, we now can specify our blocks that we can place it on. And you know how we specified blocks for the can break one, so we're just going to do blocks colon and then our list of blocks. So we're going to do let's do dirt. We can only place our stone on dirt. As you can see, it says only dirt. Now I need to be in adventure mode for this to work, so as you can see, I can place it anywhere in creative mode. So if I go up a little bit and switch on over to adventure, I can only place it on dirt and nothing else. See, JSON components are very simple actually. They're not as confusing as many people make them out to be. And And the only other command that actually uses JSON components is tellraw, which is the same as tellraw. So if I did title, it has the same components. So raw text, and then we have our list inside of it of our text. So, hi. Bam. So it's the same JSON components. Now, I do have some stuff to show you in the command block creations, but I kind of just taught it over here. If we come on over here, it's quite a long walk. Wow, look at all these creations I've made. So over here, we have text and chat that I've already showed you that you can do. So if I press this button, fun has joined the game. So you can do stuff like that, just have some fun with it and say like something like that. And then over here, we have mines that you can make. So if I go over here, oh, wrong button, into adventure mode, and then grab this pickaxe cannot break iron, but it can break coal, as you can see. But this pickaxe can break iron and coal. See? So that's pretty cool, and it can't break anything else. So if I go back into creative and show you the commands, so basically I have the list here, coal underscore ore, and then comma, iron underscore ore, because you can do that. It's a list. You split it up with commas. And in this one, you can do just coal ore. So it's as simple as that. I hope you guys understand what JSON components are, and I hope this video wasn't too hard on some of your guys' brains. But if you guys ever need help, you guys can always come down to the Discord, and you can talk to me and tell me your command problems. So if you guys like the video, hit the like button. If you dislike it, just hit the dislike button. It really helps me to know that my videos are bad or good. So that's it. Have a great day.